getting stuck into the next add-on plugin for the Weapon Proficiency system. I will just copy and paste this. Okay, so this one is going to be something to do with gaining parameters or stat increase. Stat increase? Yeah. Actors can gain stats when their proficiency level increases. Now there's no real good place, I don't think, for having some way of saying what kind of parameter should increase. Because I don't want it to be on a weapon, because I want all of the weapons to follow the same parameter increase. So all swords will gain the same parameters, all staves will get the same parameters, all flails, so on. Is it possible to have a parameter that is like almost an object, maybe an array of arrays, which is a bit mucky. But anyway, let's continue gutting this out for now. Stat increase. Let's go to AI and just ask what kind of parameters, what, what types of parameters can we have in an RPG Maker MZ plugin? Is there something for an object or an array of arrays? A custom struct. No, file. Interesting. File selector. Database selectors. Ooh. That's very interesting. I'll need to remember that. Maybe we use an array of structs. My use case is I would like to have some way for the developer, for the user to enter a list of weapon type ID to a list of parameter IDs and in plus a list of parameter ID to value. So hopefully it understands my weird kind of cobbled together notation here. A weapon ID, which will hold a list of parameter ID and value. You don't need to give me the exact code for it. I just wanna this might be one of the times when it's okay to just loop through, because there won't be too many weapon types, I don't believe. Even if there's 100 weapon types, maybe it would still be fast enough. Parameter value lists, let's see. Struct with an ID and a value. Ah, struct a weapon type. So weapon type holds an ID and the struct parameters. Okay, I see. So this is the array. So let's first add this in. And proficiency stat increase array. Proficiency stat increase. Maybe just go all out and type the whole thing out. Weapon proficiency. A list of stat increases by weapon type. That's what we're talking about here. Weapon type stat increase. Weapon type stat increase. So it's this thing. Okay, so so this has to be its own thing. Is that how this works? So I put that up here. So the struct is weapon type stat increase. Let's just do W type ID, weapon type ID. Yep, that's fine. We'll default to 0 because it just to make it nothing. Kind of force them to put something in. And And then we'll have stat increase array. Stat increase. Proficiency. Right, weapon type stat increase. Let's call this proficiency stat increase. I think the naming is getting a bit loose here. But then we have another one at the top. Proficiency stat increase. Stat ID or parameter. Yeah, that's fine. And then, yeah, value is fine. Much the stat increases by. So weapon type stat increase is this. And all it is an array of those. And this holds a weapon type ID, which is just a number, and another struct, which is proficiency stat increase, which just holds that and a value. So I've never tried this this type of stuff before with structs. So I'm quite interested to see how it works, how it looks. So mappings. So it's trying to parse type mappings. So our one is weapon type stat increase array. And then we should be able to for each through these and then do something. Weapon type stat increase. Doesn't have to be the array this time. And we'll just console log out the weapon type stat increase because I want to see what we've got here. So we need to add the new plugin, stat increase. Here it is. So we click on it and what happens? Click on one of these and it gives us this. Oh, this is looking really good. So weapon type, I think one is dagger. And this is the parameter value. I can't actually remember the parameters. Let's have a look. this ram2 is attack. 0, 1, 2. So we'll just say increase the agility if you use a dagger, or maybe agility and luck, something like that. So 6 and 7. So 6 increases by 1, and 7 increases by 1. So there we go, that's that. Weapon type, say 2. So a sword can maybe gain attack, which is param 2, and maybe defense as well. So 2 and 3. Or no, 2 and agility. 2 and 6. 2 and 6. So when we start params, oh, that's just a naming thing. We use parameters. Alright, so here's what we have. Does this parse multiple times? No, it just does it the once. So, right, so that's the very top level. Then we say weapon type ID. We just grab that from like that. So, but we will say just W type ID, just keep it the wording the same as the engine. So this is weapon stat increase, W type ID, wipe ID. Let's console log this out as well. And then we get the parameters for each. So what did we call it though? It is proficiency stat increase, or stat increase array, that's it. So that would be weapon type stat increase array on a weapon type stat increase dot proficiency stat increase array. That's it. Stat increase array dot for each stat increase so now we should be able to do console log stat increase dot parameter, is that what we called it? Parameter ID and value. So let's see if it gives anything back or if we need to do a bit more with it. For each of undefined, so do we need to do something with this? We say weapon type stat increase equals that dot or JSON dot parse, something like that. Okay, so I think I need to parse each thing that we go into. So we can get weapon type ID, no problem. But here, when we try and get the stat increase array, we'll have to just overwrite it again. Stat increase array equals JSON.parse weapon type stat increase array, and then console log again. There we go. So we have 0 and 1, which is, now if we do for each in this, and we will have to say stat increase equals stat increase array equals JSON.parse stat increase. I wonder if I'm doing something wrong here and that's why it won't just parse the entire thing all at once, or if it's the way that RPG Maker handles it that makes it require being parsed like that. There we go, parameter ID, lovely, and value. So now if we do parameter ID, we'll say const parameter ID equals that, but we're gonna get it as a number. And then same thing for the value, we'll just say const value equals number and pass that in. So now if we, instead of all of these logs, we'll just have a nice one at the end. So we'll say weapon type ID and that is going to be weapon type ID. Then comma, we'll say parameter ID, comma, and then value. And just to go one step further, we'll actually catch the weapon type name data system dot weapon types, I think it is, and then pass in W type ID. We should be able to say weapon type name instead of the ID. We'll actually put the name in there and then say the changes. Now let's see if this works. Weapon types of null. Okay. Okay, we can't do this because it hasn't loaded yet, sadly. So let's just undo. Data systems gets loaded after the plugins, it seems. Not a number. Oh, we're not using the proper thing here. I think this is only doing it once, for some reason. Oh, there we go. So Dagger will increase whatever 6 is by 1, whatever 7 is by 1. I think it's agility and luck. And the sword will increase attack by 1 and agility by 1. So now I need to just figure out at what point we level up and then do something with it. So is this the only place? This isn't the only place where I level up, annoyingly. Increment weapon proficiency. Hmm. It's this and this. So I guess if the level goes up, we should add the parameters, and if the level goes down, we should probably remove the parameters. But again, maybe that should be a parameter of its own, saying, do you want to decrease parameters when the level goes down? Uh, yeah. Right, let's see. Let's have a regular old parameter. We'll say um, okay. Lose stats on uh, juice level. On level reduction. Maybe that's. eh. Oh boy. Should actors lose stats when their weapon proficiency is lowered? We'll say false for default. Okay, so the two places it looks like they set the proficiency is here. So we're going to have to steal those. Let's make some aliases. Game actor set weapon proficiency. So when we want, how do we capture if they have leveled up? First of all, we're going to need to get the current level, or the previous level, I guess. This dot get some kind of get level, get weapon proficiency level for this weapon type ID. So now we have the previous level. We have to get the level now. And then if it's changed, we do something. If previous level is equal to current level, return. Might be a little dangerous throwing in returns there for compatibility reasons. We will say if previous level is greater than current level, lost proficiency, lose stats. So we will say const should lose stats equals parameters dot lose stats on level reduction, or just false. Oh no, if this is a boolean, we want to say that that value is equal to this, so is equal to true. So then we check should lose stats. But then if current level is greater than previous level, gain stats. So this bit in the middle here is just what we catch. So we will call this oh, we need to pass through proficiency level as well. And the reason I would get the current level afterwards instead of using proficiency level here is if we try and set the level to 100, but our max level is 5, then it's just, we're not using this. We're going to use whatever their actual level is after running this code. There's going to be some function or some method gain stats, gain weapon proficiency stats, weapon type ID will be getting passed through, and level delta, what the change is. So if this is positive, we will just add the stats. If this is negative, we will reduce the stats. And this is also, if you level up twice, then we will add double the stats. I think that's maybe a way to do it. So we need to actually use the stuff we catch here. Let's grab this. Oh, I thought there was an object. It's maybe on this one. Yeah, we'll grab this object. All right, well, I guess it can't be. It'll be a different one. Uh, Stat increase. Okay, so then we will do weapon proficiency stat increase. The reason why this is okay is because it has var up here. Normally this has to be above the code before you use it. I'm going to be slotting it in here somewhere. But because it's var, it gets hoisted to the top of the code. So where am I going with this? So it's not a function. We're going to just use it here. It should be even above that. So stat increase. What am I looking for here? Weapon type stat increase array. Or maybe I'll just make that equal to an object. Oh, this is maybe part of the problem. I'm just running this in the ether here. Maybe I should be running this inside of some object after the system has been declared. That might be an idea. But for now, I suppose we'll just put it in here, see if it works fine. Weapon type stat increase. That dot uh, add weapon type stat increase. We'll pass in the ID, pass in the parameter ID, and pass in a value. And first of all, this will check if the weapon type exists. if keys dot includes weapon type ID. If it doesn't include it, we will add it. And afterwards, we can just push it in, push in parameter ID and the value. You could make another object in here and use parameter ID as the key, but I think having an array is fine here, and you just loop through them. It's a bit easier to manipulate it. So add weapon stat increase. Weapon type ID, parameter ID, and value. And then maybe once this is all done, I will console log weapon stat increases. That would have been why we were getting some annoying problems. Set weapon proficiency is not defined. Oh, I think that's why I can't restart when I get errors there as well. It's like it's happening at a time when it shouldn't be happening. So there's dagger. It has just one entry, 7 and 1. It only has 6 and 1. So it's like it's overwriting it. Add weapon type stat increase. It's got nothing in it, and then you want to pass in 1, then 0, 1. What is this array? 63. Okay, that's the keys. Yeah, okay. So holds string 1. So maybe that's the problem. Using strings. Armor ID, value. Weapon type ID should be a number. So, yeah. So I'm saying, what are the keys? Nothing. What are the keys? 1. Okay. What are the keys? You want to pass in 2. You want to pass in 2. keys does not include the type ID. Let's see if this is a type problem. There we go. Keys does not include 1 because it's turned it into a string for some reason. Um, does making a number a key in an object turn the number into a string? Automatically converts to a string. Okay. So we need to say, does it include this? Okay, so annoyingly, we're turning this back into a string to check if it includes it or not. There we go. So another funky problem. So we got nothing in the keys, we add 1, doesn't include 1, then it makes it include 1. Then we try and add 1 again, it says, well, we do have it this time because we're comparing string to string. So then it moves on to 2, it adds 2, and this time it is not resetting every single time. So now this line here holds all of the stat increases. So let's get rid of this. We'll say const stat increases equals this. We'll say if stat increases, return. If it's nothing, we'll just return. Otherwise, we want to add these stats to the game actor somehow. Now, how do we normally add stats? Something add parameter. Do we have something like that? Add param, change parameter, add param. Interesting. Let's see that in action. Param plus, so it keeps it separate from the regular parameters, which is a smart thing to do. And it's on the battler base actually. Alright, so add param and then it's ID and the value. So let's say this dot add param can we loop through each parameter, each stat increase, stat value pair, say, parameter ID equals stat value pair 0, and then value equals stat value pair 1. And the reason I'm thinking it works this way is because we have just chucked it in here, 0 and 1. So we push in the parameter ID as 0 and the value as 1. So then we're adding parameter ID and then value. But this isn't what we're doing. This would only add one lot of stat to the character. So we need to multiply by the level delta. So if we level up twice, this will say loop through all the stat increases we want to make, increase the attack, say, by 1, and it'll say make it 1 multiplied by 2 levels, so we add 2. So here we go. Let's say this dot gain weapon proficiency stats. We'll pass in the weapon type ID, which is already given to us, and then the level delta is going to be current level minus previous level. And then this is the same thing. This, you know what, maybe it's the same thing. Maybe this is the same line. So we'll just say, oh no, because we're catching it here. Okay, it might be useful to keep this split. It feels bad copying and pasting, but I feel like it keeps the logic simple. We say if we have lost levels and we should be losing stats, run this. Otherwise, if we are increasing in proficiency level, we'll just gain the stats. Now let's see if we can get this to work. So we only have daggers and swords set up in the plugin. So enemies, I've reduced the experience to 0. I think I did that off camera. That's so I can see. I don't want the actor leveling up and gaining stats that way. So let's have a look at what they've got. We'll use a sword and a dagger. The attack will be 19. We can see all that in game, I guess. So I've not clicked anything. He has 32 attack. 32 attack. And I'm going to level up my sword proficiency. I think I said 32. So what should have happened? Let's predict this. If it starts at 32, he has grown by 4 levels. That should be 4 more attack and 36 strength. No, nothing happened. Right. Have I even called it? Ah, that's if you set the weapon proficiency. I haven't done anything if you increment it. So that makes sense why nothing happened. So what do we do here? We want to grab this game actor increment. I'm going to be happy when I'm coding up a plugin that uses easier words to type. Oh my god, proficiency. Increment weapon proficiency. Right, let's type that all again. Okay, increment weapon proficiency. So we're kind of doing the same thing. We want to catch the previous level, which at the moment will be the current level. And then afterwards, we want to get the current level. But this is only incrementing. So we just want to check if the level is greater than the previous level. And then we will gain stats. This should not be lowering the level in any way. But it may not increase if the max level has already been hit. So that's why we say we'll get the current level afterwards and then gain stats if we should. And then this little bit in the middle will just be the existing code, increment weapon proficiency, call, pass in this, pass in the weapon type. We don't need to pass in proficiency level. Right, and now let's see. Let's see if this is going to be what we want it to be. Or is it going to give us bugs? It could give us bugs. So 32. Let's kill some goblins. Oh, good start. Okay, so same as before. He's gone up 4 levels, so it should be 36. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Now, I didn't check the agility, but I'm sure that's gone up as well. So this time, let's run it again. For testing's sake, we'll make this 10. Let's see. Let's see. So we are going to grab some stuff from here. So we need to equip the knife. And let's see. It's the agility and the luck we're interested in. So it's 56 and 53. 56 and 53. Okay, level 2. 56 and 53. He's only gone up 1 level, so 56, 53 should be 57, 54. There we go. Brilliant. Another plugin. Well done, if I do say so myself. Let's do some cleanup. Make sure there's no console logs in here. Maybe add some little headers. And that's all it was, really. Just a couple of simple changes. So if we gain weapon proficiency stats, we just maybe there could be more safety checks, more Fs, and then returns if something doesn't come back properly. But yeah, I think this is good. I think this is a nice little collection of plugins, and I like separating them like this because maybe someone doesn't want the equip requirements, but they do want the stat increase. Then you just add those two, and you leave out some of the bloat. Some other plugins I've seen, they try and cram every option into the plugin, and then you maybe only want one part of it. So then what you end up with is just a lot of bloat in your code. So yeah, I think that's it then. And there's no help. There probably should be a lot of help for trying to figure out this nonsense. It is all over the place, I guess. A list. Hold on, let's check. Let's check. A list of stat increases by weapon type. Is that descriptive? And we click on one. It says list of stat. It says the same thing. Stat increase array. You know what? I'm sure people can figure it out. People are smart. You just keep clicking and it eventually tells you what to do. Parameter ID, value, easy. Weapon type ID, easy. Yeah, no problem. Let's try this though. I forgot to even test this. Loose stats and level reduction. So this is going to level them up. Wait, will it? Oh, yeah, the increment is what I'm looking for. So if I click on the car and he will level up swords. And then if I click on the whatever that is, and then do set weapon proficiency to 1 again. First of all, let's check if that works. It should work. So we click, 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 click. Level 5, nice, and let's click, click, click. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Map of undefined weapon. We found a bug with the old code 146. Huh. So level is coming back as undefined. Oh, hold on. I didn't add it's weapon type 2, and we want to set it to 1. So maybe it's not a bug, maybe it's just there should be better checks to give someone a better idea of what went wrong. So we'll keep clicking. Level 5. And then level 1. Yeah, okay, so it sets you to level 1. So let's check the stats now. You have 32, 32 attack, 36 attack. Click on that to go back to 1. And you have 32 attack. So that has reduced the stats. Now let's just see if for some reason you didn't want that to happen, you turn that off. So 36, we'll go all the way down again. He's still got 36, but he's back down to level 1. So you can just keep raising. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.